5 to 10 years from now, how does this business evolve and what does it look like?
You know, I wish I knew the answer to that question, then I wouldn't have to do this boring interview. No, I think first, certainly the speed of change is going to intensify. You can see that at CES here, and we came back again next year. We would all be wowed by the speed of change, and whether they're going to be massive developments like 3D or 4K or whatever it happens to be, who knows? But there will be significant change. But that's apple pie and motherhood, and that's pretty boring stuff. I think that you will see more consolidation. I think the pressures inside the industry from the pressures inside clients, the fact that worldwide GDP is probably we're not going to see the levels we saw pre-Lehman, and they were unsustainable by definition, and therefore it's probably healthy that we don't see them. That as a result, the inflation will not be heavy, at least in the short to medium term. That as a result, finance and procurement will still put pressure on costs in order to hit goals. So those pressures will be there, and that will force further consolidation. There will also be a further, and you see that at CS, a blurring of the lines. So when people talk about who our competitors are, we think about Omnicom, or we think about Publicis, or we think about IPG, or we think about Havas, or we think about Dentsu, clearly, or we think about Ipsos, or we think about GfK, or we think about Nielsen. But we also think about Google, we also think about Facebook, we also think about Amazon, we also think about Alibaba, we also think about Deloitte Consulting, we also think about companies like, that are in the consulting business, like an Accenture or whatever it happens to be. Those lines are going to get more and more blurred. You see what Salesforce.com is trying to do, you see what Adobe is trying to do, you see what Oracle, with Data Logics just before Christmas is trying to do. This is all a blurring of the lines. Now, whether those companies have the capabilities that we have, we certainly don't have some of the capabilities that they have. Whether they have the capabilities that we have, they are about to find out. I mean, I think if I look at history, even as a very brief history to date, they don't have those capabilities. Whether you call them left brain and right brain, and I never remember which is which, but if we've got the left brain and they've got the right brain, or vice versa, you put the two brains together, you have something different. So I see more consolidation and a more blurring of the lines. Bruin Capital this morning, the Bruin Sports Capital investment is another example of that. It's sports and entertainment. Our investment, extreme end of it, not a great example, the Weinstein Fund, but Media Rights Capital, Imagina in Spain, Full Screen with Peter Chernin, Vice with Shane Smith, and we'll be having a Vice board meeting, I think it's tomorrow night, and dinner. So these are all good examples. China, the China Media Capital investment that we made in China with Ratpac and Time Warner, and the ITV investment made in Ingenious Media. All these are good examples of us drifting into, or not drifting into, putting a stake in the ground in technology, putting it with Xaxis, for example, putting a stake in the ground with data, Rentrack, AppNexus. There'll be more to come in that area. Putting a stake in the ground in terms of sports and entertainment with the content investments I mentioned, and again with Bruin. So I think these are all of the blurring of the lines. It's becoming much more integrated. I mean, if we think our business has become integrated from a team point of view, from a functional point of view, it's going to become more and more integrated. And those competitors, not the direct ones, but let's say the ones that are seem to be less close, more technological, are going to have to examine their strategies in relation to this too.